Hi, this is the Ridge Runner with a quick Pine Home Primitives moment. I'm on a trip last week and I got a video on that already, and I covered a little bit of what I'm going to cover here, but I really wanted to go over things a little more succinctly so as not to make sure I did not leave anything out. Now, this trip was it was a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. Some stuff went wrong, some stuff didn't, not counting the rain. But I incidentally, if you happen to be in upstate New York and want a really nice camping and canoeing trip, I'd highly recommend you go up to Stillwater Reservoir in the Independence River Wilderness area. You can look it up on a map, it comes out really good. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to camp. There's a lot of primitive campsites, and the Boy Scouts have made some toilets out there that are, well, you can sit on them and you can go do your business in them, and it works. But that's not really what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is what worked and what didn't. Now, let's see the big red backpack in the middle of the room, in the middle of the thing here. This is my Duluth Pack utility pack. Now, this is one of those things that didn't work. And I got to preface this with one thing. It did not work for a long, extended trip that would include carrying a sleeping bag. And I've given a lot of thought to this. If I had taken this and used the blanket, which you see here, and maybe a second one could have been used as well, I would have been fine. You know, for a summer trip, like for midsummer trip, early summer trip, where it's really warm and all you're gonna do is roll up in a blanket when you're cold. This pack would have been fine for that. I decided to stuff a sleeping bag in there, and it pretty much left no room left for anything else. And part of me was just the absent-mindedness of the whole situation. Stuff like that caused me to leave things behind that I shouldn't have. Now, let's go over this a little bit. All this stuff came with me, except this. Now, why do I put a regular old spoon on there? Because a spoon is a spoon is a spoon. You can go get a titanium spoon, or you can get, one of these MRE jobbies here. This one's dirty because I'm using it right now. Because they're free. They come with the MRE. Or anything like that, any kind of tactical, hoopy-doopy spoon you could think of. But a spoon is very important in a camping trip. When you don't have one, you're reduced to either making your own, if you have the time, or chopsticks and the lid of your cook pot, or whatever you can think of to scoop the food into your mouth. I chose chopsticks because for some reason this little bugger didn't make it into my bag. Well, not this particular one, but any spoon. Now, a long time ago, I got this for Christmas. And, see if I can get it out of here. It's all a one-handed job here. This is a spyglass by Barska. I think it's Russian. I don't know. Where's the thing on it? There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. It's a nice leather handle to it here. And hold on a second. That's what it looks like extended. Now, could I carry some binoculars, some Tasco or Bushnell, or even higher quality ones? Sure. This has a nice old-timey feel to it. And it does work. Stargazing with it is kind of difficult because you can't steady it enough to really look at the stars right. Even laying down on the ground, I had a hard time with it. But for observing things in your path, well, there she blows. Works good. I'll give this 2 thumbs up. I love this little spyglass, and it's going to come with me on a few more trips, quite a few more trips. Thank you, Andrew, he of the bad axe of the other video, for giving me this wonderful thing for Christmas. I am tickled, and of course, this is quite a few years ago that he gave it to me, but thank you belatedly for giving me a wonderful spyglass. Okay, I covered this in the other video, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown on this. This is a Bruceletto bushcraft knife. It's made in Norway. I believe it's a maple handle, brass bolster, brass knob on the end. It's got that Scandi grind, beautiful edge. I haven't even sharpened this since the trip, and it's still damn good and sharp. Real secure in the sheath because of the fact that it has that knob on the back and that links up to this strap that comes over with a hole in it that comes over the top. And you can tell it's easy to even operate with one hand, which you've got to when you're sheathing a knife. Knife won't go anywhere. It's a great knife, bomb-proof. The only problem with it is, and as I said in the other video, it needs a more acute angle on the back spine for use with sparking tools. Now this knife traveled in the bottom of my backpack. Because this knife was new, I was unsure about it. So I decided to take and have this one leave this one in the bottom of my backpack. And if I haven't talked about this knife before, I really need to. I do tell it's gotten a lot of use. I bought it new. And there's some people out there I'm sure are going to wince because I bought it new. It's a collector's item. It's actually a genuine marbles woodcraft knife. And made in the United States. The marbles ones that they're making now, they're all made in China or someplace. They're all right, but they don't hold a candle to the marbles knives made in the United States. But this one, the woodcraft, I can't say enough about this knife. This is a great outdoor knife, and it's an old friend, and it's my go-to outdoor knife. It's skinned deer. It has made traps. It has made carved tent stakes. It's carved, well, beef steaks. Just about anything you can think of. It's a good knife. The sheath, I mean, I've kept it because it works, but it isn't the best. I'd rather have one more like what this one has, but that's what it is. Now, in the other video, I did mention that I forgot to bring a flashlight. And as I say, I have a thing for flashlights. I own lots of them. I mean, I've got a lot of flashlights. And, you know, this one here is the one I carry at work. Works good. And I forgot one this time. And that was a big mistake. I had to stop, and I paid $5.99 for this job. And I thought, for some reason, I thought this was one of those little aluminum ones, but then I come back to it, and it's not. But it's the equivalent there of one of those little cheap aluminum flashlights that you get through Harbor Freight. And I highly recommend those. Don't pay $5.99 for one of these. But, that being said, this flashlight really did function. I mean, we were using it to identify out on the lake, to identify the markers for the campsites in the dark, in the fog. The lake was really, 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 really low, and it looked like we had, like, I don't know, 30 yards of beach that shouldn't have been there. So the map wasn't as accurate as it could be because there was land where there shouldn't have been land, and rocks where there shouldn't have been rocks, and stumps, and all kinds of stuff. Kind of interesting. But this little flashlight came through for me. Well, I must say I wasn't thrilled putting it in my mouth a number of times that I had to, because that's the way I had to hold it. Because I don't know how many people touched it when they were looking at it at the convenience store where I purchased it before me. But it worked, and I liked the fact that it was bright orange. It was hard to lose. All right. Camelback. I'm sure a lot of you guys carry these already. It needs no introduction. It's Camelback. It's a great way to carry water. Highly recommend it. I love mine. I sit at home and drink out of it. It's nice. Get one. Use it. Carries lots of water in a very convenient way. I've even worn it under a backpack. I've strapped it to a backpack. I have attached it to the side of a backpack. I even attached it to the front of me at one point. Straps, well, it's not that heavy, so it doesn't have like big padded straps, but that's good because if you're putting it in something else, those big padded straps get right in the way. Now, this is the other thing that I carried with me. Oops, there's those. Hey, boogers. I thought it was right in there. There it is. Alright, I got this mini stove on Amazon. Cost me $5. And in another video, I will actually cover its use. But it works really, really well. And you notice how big the stove is? Right to the knife and all kinds of other stuff. And that's in the box. Comes in this little plastic carrying case inside there. See if I can get to it. Nope, not going to get to it today. But that worked really well, especially when I couldn't, when I didn't want to bother putting a fire in. But at the end of the day, the only other thing I forgot, and I didn't use it though, so I really didn't need to buy it, was rope. But gosh darn it, if I didn't buy this rope, for holy moly, I spent that much money on rope from Wilcor. Okay, anyway, that's embarrassing. Anyway, point I'm trying to make is, it's very simple. Come prepared. Even if you think you have everything, you don't. Use your checklist. Check it twice, just like Santa Claus. Anyway, hope this helps you guys out a lot. This is the Ridge Runner signing off.